I fucking hated this bus with every fiber of my being. The wooden seats felt like they were hammering into my bones with every pothole. Dust, thick and choking, seeped from the floorboards, mixing with the stench of sweat and cheap gasoline. I stared through the grimy, fogged-up window, a blind eye to the world outside, and wondered what madness had possessed me to agree to this trip. Why the hell did I say yes? 10 years. 10 years I'd gone without visiting my grandparents, and honestly, I'd been just fine. But then the neighbor called, her voice cracked and strained. "You should come. The old folks, they're not doing well, and they've gotten strange." Something twisted in my gut, a pang of guilt. I thought, fine, it's a sin to completely abandon them. The road stretched on like a rubber band waiting to snap. First asphalt, then gravel, and then this goddamn dirt track where the bus lurched and groaned like a dying animal. Outside, the fields I remembered as golden were now gray and barren. Houses slumped on their foundations, their roofs caved in as if crushed by an invisible weight. It looked like the world had died here, and the people just hadn't gotten the memo. I tried to cling to childhood memories, Grandma's pies filling the kitchen with a heavenly smell, Grandpa strong as an oak, his axe slung over his shoulder, the two of us in the sun-drenched orchard laughing. But these images were faded, distant, like someone else's photographs. Then came my life, the city's noise, the alcoholic haze, the meaningless rush. I kept postponing calls, always finding a reason. Later, I'd tell myself. Later had finally arrived.
The bus dumped me at a deserted crossroads, turned around, and left. The silence it left behind was deafening. The path to the house was a faint scar through weeds that stood chest high. They slapped my face with their wet, coarse stalks. The air was thick, cloying, smelling of decay and wet earth. With every step, I felt less like I was returning to my past and more like I was falling into some alien dimension. And then, there it was, the house. My breath hitched. In my memory, it was a sturdy, bright cottage, full of life. Now, it was a blackened ruin. The walls leaned precariously, the siding peeling off in leprous strips. The roof sagged in several places, revealing the dark maws of the attic. The windows were empty, and their darkness seemed to hold a sinister intelligence. The whole structure looked like a giant dead insect, frozen in its final agony. Something inside me screamed to turn around and run, but my legs, the traitors, carried me forward. I didn't even have to knock. With a groaning, unnaturally loud creak, the door swung open on its own, as if someone had been standing right behind it, not breathing, waiting in the complete darkness. "Grandson," a voice said. I froze. It wasn't my grandmother's voice. It was a dry, rustling whisper, like someone stirring dead leaves in an empty metal pail, a sound utterly devoid of humanity. "Come in." Deep in the hallway, silhouetted in a sliver of murky light, stood two figures. I recognized their shapes, but not their essence. They were smiling. The smiles were too wide, stretched tight like masks. They didn't reach their eyes, which watched me, empty and fixed.
I stepped over the threshold, and a wave of stench hit me like a physical blow. This wasn't just the smell of age and dust. This was the reek of rot, thick, palpable, as if something dead and long forgotten lay under the floorboards, inside the walls, everywhere. I swallowed back the bile rising in my throat. "Sit down, grandson," Grandma said, and her hand came down on the table with a dry, bony thud. The table was set, just like in my childhood. A tablecloth, plates, a large pot of borscht. But the bread was hard, covered in a bluish mold. The borscht was a dark, almost blackish brown, and steam rose from it, but it smelled not of food, but of sour bog and iron. The vapor was unnaturally thick and slow. Grandpa sat across from me. His face was waxy and immobile. His skin was stretched so taut over his cheekbones it looked ready to split. His eyes didn't blink, and his smile revealed long, yellowish teeth that were too sharp, far too sharp. "Long time," I mumbled, feeling my fingers go cold. "Long time," he replied. His voice was low, resonant, seeming to come from under the ground. It vibrated in my bones. I picked up a spoon, dipped it into the borscht, and froze. For a moment, something pale floated in the thick liquid, something that looked like a finger joint with a dirty nail. I blinked, and the vision was gone. Only dark pulp and chunks of potato remained. "Why aren't you eating?" Grandma tilted her head. A distinct dry crunch echoed in the room, like snapping twigs. I flinched, and the spoon clattered against the plate. "It's delicious," she added, and her smile widened, stretching her thin, cracked lips. I forced myself to swallow 2 spoonfuls. It tasted like vomit, mixed with soil and rust. I sat and ate under their silent, heavy gaze, feeling goosebumps crawl up my spine.
I was terrified, shitless terrified that those smiles would suddenly vanish. When I was done, Grandma stood. Her movements were sharp, angular. "Time for bed. We'll take you to your room." An icy fist clenched in my chest. My room, that same one. We ascended the creaking stairs. The creaks weren't wooden, but somehow bony, and they were answered by echoes from beneath the floor, as if it was hollow. The hallway smelled of damp and something else, something sweet and nauseating. The room was a preserved nightmare. The toys on the shelf were shrouded in thick dust and cobwebs. The walls had darkened, stained with strange, damp patches. The air was stale and heavy, difficult to breathe. "Sleep, grandson," she hissed. "We have much to do tomorrow." The door closed. I didn't hear a latch click, but I knew it was locked. I was alone in this tomb. I lay down on the bed, which smelled of mold and dust, and tried to sleep, but my heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. And then I heard it. Footsteps, slow, shuffling, as if something were dragging a heavy burden. Then a soft scraping, like a nail being drawn across wood. And then breathing, heavy, wheezing, with a gurgling undertone right outside the door. I crept forward and, holding my breath, opened the door a crack. In the corridor, illuminated by a strip of moonlight, stood Grandma, but it wasn't her. Her figure was unnaturally elongated, her skin gray and parchment-like, stretched over bone. Her neck was bent at an impossible angle, and her face, it was webbed with deep cracks, and from the sockets stared only thick, impenetrable darkness, and that black slit of a mouth was stretched in a soundless, horrifying smile. "Sleep, grandson," the thing whispered, with her voice, but it was the voice of the grave. "We go to the garden tomorrow. The harvest is good." I slammed the door and shoved a chair under the handle with all my strength. I spent the rest of the night sitting on the bed, knees to my chest, listening to the thing shuffle, scratch, and softly hum something ancient and funereal outside. Morning came, gray and bleak. The door swung open silently, as if it had never been closed. Grandma,
once again wearing her normal mask, stood there with the same smile. "Grandson, come to the garden. The harvest is good." My tongue was numb. My legs obeyed. I followed them like a lamb to the slaughter. We stepped outside. What I saw made my heart plummet into an abyss. Nothing remained of the lush green orchard. In its place stood a forest of dead, charred trees, their bare, twisted branches clawing at the gray sky. The earth was black, trampled as if by many feet. Not a sound, not a rustle, only a crushing, grave-like silence. They led me to the edge of a large, freshly dug pit. The earth around it was littered with something pale. "Grandpa worked hard here," Grandma said, and her voice sounded proud. "A bountiful harvest." I looked inside, and my world turned upside down. The pit was filled with body parts mixed with the soil. Pale, bruised hands marked with decay. Legs. In one spot, the crown of a skull protruded from the dirt. Everywhere, gold rings, chains, and earrings glinted dully in the gray light. There were so many, so very many. "Who are they?" I breathed, my voice foreign to my own ears. Grandpa placed his hand on my shoulder. His touch was cold and hard as ice. "Our guests, they all stay." His face moved closer. The waxy layer of skin began to slip, revealing beneath it something dark, moist, and shifting. The empty sockets seemed to absorb the light. "You will stay too." A wild animal terror ripped me from my stupor. I jerked back violently. His fingers dug into me like claws, but I tore myself free. I ran blindly through that cursed garden. Black roots snatched at my ankles. Branches like bony fingers scratched my face. Behind me, their voices never ceased, but they were no longer words. It was a drawn-out, hissing vortex full of longing and hunger. "Grandson, come back. We waited so long." I burst onto the road, stumbled, and fell into the mud. Headlights appeared in the distance. I scrambled up, leapt into the middle of the path, waving my arms wildly. A truck screeched to a halt centimeters from me. I tumbled into the cab, slammed the door, and screamed into the driver's face. "To the city! Now! Drive!" He looked at me like I was insane, but he hit the gas. I turned, staring out the rear window. They stood at the edge of the road. Two small, dark figures, but even from that distance, I could see their faces. They were waving goodbye and smiling widely, joyfully. I returned to my apartment, tried to drown the horror in vodka, and convinced myself it was all a delirium, a waking nightmare. But the nightmare followed me. Day 1. Woke up screaming. In my dream, they were standing by my bed. On the living room windowsill, prints of small, bare, dirty feet. Day 3. The same sweetish, putrid smell haunted the apartment. In the stairwell, right in front of my door, I found dead pigeons, 6 of them. Their insides had been neatly removed and smeared across the wall. I cleaned it up. The next morning, they were back. Day 5. Heard whisperings at night, not from the door, but from the corner of the room. A quiet, rustling sound, like dry leaves. "We miss you." I stayed up until dawn, clutching a knife. Day 7. The bathroom mirror cracked on its own with a deafening pop. In the shards, for a split second, I saw their reflection. They were standing right behind me. I turned around, no one. Day 9, the call started. Unknown number. The line would be silent, then that same wheezing, gurgling breath, and a whisper, "Grandson, soon." I smashed the phone. Day 12, found a photograph in my mailbox. It was me, asleep in my bed, and in the background, in the doorway, they stood, clear, in focus, smiling. Day 14, the neighbor from downstairs, pale-faced, asked, "Why do you cry at night?" in such an old, pitiful voice. My blood ran cold. Day 18, woke up feeling watched. All the furniture in the bedroom had been turned to face the bed. The chairs, the desk, the dresser, everything was looking at me. On the wall by the headboard, someone had scratched a single word with a long nail. Waiting. Day 20. I drove back. The house was still there. The garden was gone. Just an enormous fresh pit, the size of a mass grave. At the bottom, lying in the mud, was my jacket, the one I'd torn when I escaped. Day 22. They're here now. I hear chairs moving in the kitchen. I go in. It's empty, but something slithers across the floor, leaving a wet, slimy trail. In the bread bin, I found a finger, pale, with a familiar gold band at the base. I threw it out. The next day, it was on my plate. Day 25. Woke up to breath on my cheek. Grandma's whisper, directly in my ear, was clear and distinct. "We're inside already, grandson, all the way inside." Day 27. Final notebook entry. Handwriting shaky, letters sprawling, some words written in a black, viscous sludge. They are behind me. I will not turn around. I cannot. I must not. I feel their gaze. It burns my back. I smell them. The smell is coming from me. I hear their joints creak when they move. They are smiling. I know it. They are waiting for me to finally turn around. They are waiting. From the neighbor's witness statement, October 12th. He changed. His eyes were sunken. He was quiet, but at night, oh my God, at night he had visitors. I heard old voices, laughter, quiet, sticky laughter. And once I heard him arguing with someone, and then he started singing in this ancient, rattling voice. A funeral dirge. I called the police.
Apartment inspection report. Door locked from the inside. No signs of forced entry. Interior in perfect order, except for the furniture. All items in the living room and bedroom were turned to face the center of the rooms. Numerous scratches on the walls, presumably made by fingernails or a sharp instrument. Inscriptions found. Waiting. Soon. Grandson. Faint odor of decay. Source unidentified. A photograph found on the kitchen table shows Subject K sleeping. 2 unidentified elderly figures are in the background. Faces are blurred. Seized diary. Final entries. Day 25. Grandma whispered right in my ear, "We are already inside." Day 27. They are behind me. I do not want to turn around. I hear them breathing. I know they are smiling. Subsequent pages are covered in meaningless scrawls and strange symbols resembling writhing worms. Official conclusion. The body of Subject K was not found. No signs of violent death or struggle were recorded. Case filed as missing person. Addendum. Unofficial handwritten note on the case file copy by the lead investigator. Was in that apartment a month later.
The setting sun came through the window and hit the wall. I swore I saw shadows for a second, 2 of them, tall and thin. They were standing and watching me, and smiling. They're not just in that house anymore. They're waiting for the next one.